Razabani for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got the notorious Dean Whyte. What's going on, Dean?
Excellent, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you here in Coventry. Wasn't expecting you to be here.
Yeah, I'm everywhere, man. I try and be everywhere. Shaq was there, so you know, I come over to kind of watch the press conference and just see how it was gonna go down. You know.
I know you got an affiliation with Shakan Peters. He's in the big fight, first major title fight.
Yeah.
Just let's go back a little bit. Are you gutted that Craig Richards pulled out?
Do you know what? Like you said, there was an inkling from before that there was, you know, that was potentially was going to happen. So, yeah, you know. So I'm not surprised. Obviously, it is a bit gutted when you look at it. Like, you know, it was a big fight. It was a great opportunity for both guys. But you know, I did hear whispers in the grapevine that it was a possibility that the fight wasn't going to go ahead anyway. So, like those guys are saying, they was kind of preparing for that anyway. So it is what it is. Chad Sudgen, strong boy. We saw against Craig, so it's going to be interesting to see the style of matchup. He got a draw with Craig. Let's see what Shakan can do. Can he go one better by getting a stoppage? Can he put on a better performance and outgun him? You know, because he was answering back. It was a real 50-50 battle. I still believe Craig won that fight for me. I thought he edged it, but at the same time, Chad was in there all night, responding and answering back and stuff. So let's see what happens. But at the minute, obviously, Shakan's my guy. He's got a great opportunity to get the belt. He said to me, listen, irrespective if it was Chad Sudgen, Craig Richards, anyone, if I had one hand, one foot, I'd be going in there to win that title. That title belongs to me. So he was saying I was always going to be there and I was always going to give it an opportunity to get those belts. So no matter what person was in front, he was prepared to, you know, go in there. Cold, no cold, you know what I mean? Coronavirus, he didn't care. So he was saying, listen, I was always going to be there and I was always willing to participate. He was a little bit sad that Craig. I said, listen, but this is boxing. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to take the rough with the smooth and not get too emotional in this game, because I've been around this sport of boxing. Many different things can happen. Things can change. You've got to be a professional first. Emotions you leave to the side. There's no room for your emotions in the ring. And if you fight on emotions, you normally get yourself hurt or get yourself knocked out. So what you want to do is be a smart man and say, you know what? We'll see you down the line if that opportunity comes. But he needs to concentrate on the task at hand, because the guy in front of him is a very competent fighter, very tough. Anyone come from Muay Thai kickboxing is always durable. So let's see. But it is a different sport. It's called boxing. So, you know, I think the styles will gel well. You're going to have a guy who's strong. He's a lot short. He's going to come forward, try and make it happen. And then you're going to have Shakan with a long lever, 6'6", going to jab and try and work in, trying to go to the body, maybe go to. You'll see, because Shaq's, you know, technically Shaq actually boxes really well. He goes to the body really well and he's got decent power. So I think the fight marries up well. It's going to be on Channel 5, so it's going to be good for the viewers to have, you know, watch and see, you know, without paying pay-per-view or anything, and they're going to have a good fight. And it seems like they've got a good card. They've added Isaac Chamberlain to the bill and so on. So, you know, Channel 5, you know, they're doing their stuff. You know, let's see if it all lives up to the bill. If the fights ignite and the fighters perform to their best. Because sometimes when you go on the, you know, in the bright lights and you go and perform, sometimes they don't perform much. Let's see on the night, man. It's definitely interesting. Like they said, it's new for Coventry that they've, you know, brought this here. So I'm just looking forward to it also myself, man.
He's 13-0, undefeated.
Yeah.
30 years of old, so he's going into his 30s now. Do you fast track him?
Do you know the thing was, this particular fight, if truth be told, I didn't organise any of this at first, because Craig was my friend and Shaq and I was one of the advisors, so I was trying to move him. I got him the English title fight. I wanted him to defend it for a bit, but then this opportunity came. To be honest, Chad Sudgen was one of the guys he was meant to fight on November the 28th on a Warren bill. But then obviously the opportunity came up for the British title, and he said, listen, you know, this is the direction we're going to go. It's a British title. I've been, you know, sanctioned, and I want to go for it. So, you know, it's taken a long time. You know, they were trying to do it through Matchroom, and then now Hennessy came with an excellent bid that, you know, blew everyone out of the water, and now they've got the show. So for me, it's like, you got to take one step at a time. This fight is a tough fight. He's got to get past this, and then look at the landscape. Now you've got Lyndon Arthur that's fighting Anthony Yarde. That fight is a bizarre one for me. It's a great fight, but for me, if I was Lyndon's team, I'd be looking at that guy just lost for a world title. You only just won the Commonwealth, but why wouldn't you wait out the winner of this fight to try and fight for both belts and move on to European and so on. But listen, everyone wants to fast track themselves to fame, fortune and so on, and missteps. Sometimes it could be your undoing, but let's see. Maybe he's up and ready for it, but I'd give Anthony Yard the edge because, you know, they fought at the elite level and done really well. So let's see what happens, you know. But I mean, it's a great fight nevertheless. He's 16-0, 17-0, and he's undefeated. So let's see, man. But I personally maybe wouldn't have put him in so soon with him. But that's just me. I want to, you know, give the guys a best opportunity to move slowly and assure. And when they get to their position, they're going to stay in and around that area. You know what I mean?
Let's talk a little bit about the announcement that we got this week. Your brother, Dillian Whyte and Povetkin.
Yeah.
I want to go back to a comment that Deontay Wilder made during fight week against Tyson Fury, where he said, when the rumours were that Dillian was going to fight Povetkin, and Deontay said that Dillian has been saying that I was fighting an old person in Luis Ortiz. He's now going and fighting Povetkin, who's 40 years of old, doing the same thing.
But you know what? I think, you see these guys, it's a bit of nip and tuck and a bit of banter and he said, she said this and so on. This is what these guys do. They're trying to garner edges against each other, psychological battles. It means nothing. The guys they're talking about are actually decent and potent. Ortiz is a great fighter. He showed many times, you know, that he was brilliant. He was outboxing him and he came on top. He kind of took his eye off the prize a little bit, as it were, got distracted and got himself knocked out twice. Not once, but twice. But I mean, Povetkin is a top draw. Gold medal Olympic winner, WBA former world champion. So what we're talking about, we're talking elite of the elite. These boys are like all in the top 10 or in and around that, you know, number there. So, you know, when one says one, I can't take too much into it. We've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Dillian says this, Deontay Wilder says that, Tyson Fury says this. It's just, you know, it's a bit of smoke and, you know, everyone's trying to garner the little edge, the psychological edge. It doesn't mean anything. And this is boxing. People say things and do totally different things. Like I always say, and I've said before, these guys do respect each other, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be trying to win each other. And you've got to respect the guys that are in and around the numbers where you are, because it worked extremely hard to get there. So it's just one of them.
We obviously know Dillian's aligned with Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua is aligned with Eddie Hearn. Eddie's come out clearly and said, I'm happy to make the contracts now if Fury beats Wilder in the rematch and Joshua beats Pulev. I'm ready to make those contracts now for a fight in December.
Yeah.
What position does that put Dillian in, knowing that he's continuously waiting for that mandatory assault, which is now promised to be February?
Yeah.
And do you feel like Eddie doesn't support him as much?
Listen, we see what Eddie is. Eddie's got his golden goose. Is Anthony Joshua. We know that he brings the numbers in. He's one of the biggest draws in boxing, just like Tyson Fury. Dillian's right up there with him, but he's come a different route. He's made the noises. He's pushed himself. He's been very vocal, and he's lived it up because he's got the wins, and he's consistent in wanting to, you know, fight the top guys out there and not wait. But what's been said from over a year ago, the date's been set in stone. February 2021, he's getting shot. So obviously, dethroning Deontay Wilder, as Fury's done, is great for him. But what it does is it still opens up the door, because these guys want to make unification. But the last time they can fight him is February 21. His day is there. If it comes before, great. If it doesn't, he knows when it is. It shouldn't be a concern for him to worry about what this is, what that. He's got a big fight in front of him. He needs to just concentrate. I know he's not saying it, but sometimes, you know, he was a bit vocal, thinking about how long. Do you know, it's just, you've waited long enough now. You know, another 9 months or whatever, another year or whatever it is. It's round the corner now. You just got to continue winning, keep your focus, and your chance will come, and then you got to go out there and show the world what you can do. But May the 2nd is round the corner. Hell of a fight, going to be really explosive. He needs to keep his eyes on the prize and not worry about what's going on ahead, because, you know, you tend to get slip-ups if you do that and overlook the opponent. I don't believe he will. I'll be around in the camp, you know, to make sure my bro is on track, and make sure, and I talk to the coaches to make sure they're going to be keeping him, you know, level-headed, and make sure he does the right thing, brings in the right sparring partner. Povetkin has still got a lot left in the tank.
You say Eddie's got his golden goose and Anthony Joshua brings in the numbers and the money, but is there a risk, and in the back of your mind, are you thinking that possibly the WBC could introduce the franchise champion, and would that annoy Dillian?
I don't know if it would annoy him. For me, you know, if it's another belt and he's got opportunity to win it, you know, kudos, it's great. But listen, it's just my opinion. I don't know what these people are going to do. I don't know if that will annoy him. The likelihood is it probably will annoy him. You know, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and, you know, that's what it is. He's waiting a long time, and he deserves his shot. And that's really what it boils down to, irrespective of anything. But you know, this game, in this game, you know, they want to make these fights. So, like Eddie said, he said, look, there's never been a unification fight with two British fighters. So these history barrier, what he's bringing up. But first and foremost, I believe he should have had Dillian's back and said, listen, this is Dillian. He's been waiting 1,000 days. Give him his opportunity. X, Y, Z. That's the first thing. Then he wants to talk about antitrust, but he's got 2 boys. Mention both of them if that's what you're going to do. But mention Dillian because he's been waiting so long. But listen, at the end of the day, sometimes you know, these things happen, and he's pushed it his way, and now Dillian's got his fight. It's just one of them. I don't really have the answer. This is just my opinion based on me giving my thought process as a fan, as my bro is trying to back him and trying to be as in the middle as possible, in what it is. I'm always going to have his back, but I've got to sit in the middle because whatever I say, it doesn't really have that much effect on anything anyway. I could give an input. He doesn't need to listen to me. He's got his guys and he's going to listen to them. But sometimes, it's still good to have, the support of your family and friends around you. And I'm always going to have the support and back him on whatever he wants to do. I think he deserves his shot, but I'm just talking, in the grand scheme of what Eddie's put out there already. But for me, I believe Eddie should have been mention his name first. But I understand what they're doing because, like I said, Joshua is his main cash cow on the Golden Goose. I get it, it's what it is. But they will respect Dillian once he continues winning and wins the belt. And then he'll be in the position to start, being one of the top boys and putting the card on the table and saying, this is what I'm planning to do. It's up to you if you want to back me or don't back me. And he's got to just get those belts before he can start, not pointing the finger, but dictating terms.
I know you're out in Vegas living life. I saw your Instagram stories and your snaps. Deontay Wilder took his defeat, and then we all know that he came out with the reasons why he felt he lost those fights. Paulie Malignaggi did an interview over the last 24 hours where he said that Deontay Wilder doesn't have enough real men around him to tell him that you just perform badly.
Of course.
And he has too many yes men. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, listen, this game, a lot of the boys do have a lot of yes men. Sometimes I rub people up the wrong way in my bros camp because I'm just straightforward. I tell it how it is. You're only gonna hear the brutal honesty. I'm not a yes man. I do my own thing. I do my own graph, and I'm just how I am. So for me, I always try and be as honest as I can with my bro, and try and be to the point. And I tell him if I think he's wrong, I'll tell him he's wrong. And sometimes there are yes men in your camp because they don't want to upset the apple cart. And a lot of camps have got them. Sometimes it's like that. You got to have the balls to stand up and tell someone when they're wrong, or if they're doing something wrong, or if they if this is what they need to do to change. They might not listen, but you should still affront them and try and do that. Deontay Wilder now, on the other hand, obviously, I don't know who advised him to come out and talk about that jacket because he'd done an interview before where he said he trains in a 45-pound jacket. So I don't know, but listen, David Haye put up an excuse about his toe. Everyone's got something. It's just one of those things. Sometimes they don't even think about what they're saying before they say some of the stuff. There's emotions, there's adrenaline straight after a fight. Sometimes you probably shouldn't even interview fighters after such an emotional roller coaster events. You know what I mean? Maybe you should give them 24 hours to think about what they're going to say, and then they come down. So
Deontay Wilder right to take that rematch?
Yeah, of course it is. There's too much money on the line. And I believe he's going to be better prepared in the second fight. I still got Tyson Fury winning. He went in there. There's nothing. He won the first fight for me. He won the second fight in more than emphatic fashion. I can't see anything happen but the treble. And like Man United days, bring back the treble with old Fergie and all them boys. You know what I mean? And I'll be rooting for Tyson Fury again. Top man.
AJ Pulev also announced.
AJ Pulev, good fight. Pulev is a little bit past it. Those guys were meant to fight about 3 years ago.
Bob Arum's very confident.
They could be very confident as much as they want, man. He's going to have to back his man. If that's who your promoter is, you're going to back your man. You're going to be confident. But what I feel is AJ that has came back in December in Saudi that beat Ruiz is a lot better than the AJ that lost to Ruiz on June the 1st. So what we've got to look at is now, is it going to be the destroyer AJ that's going to come forward, sit on his shots a little bit more, and be a little bit more explosive and try and get him out of it? Or is it going to be the AJ that moved and was smart and just tried to counter him, and box behind the jab? And any one of those AJs I think does a number on this Pulev. Pulev is a good experienced guy and been around the block, but I think AJ is just going to have too much youth, strength and explosiveness for him, and he's going to dispatch him within 6 rounds. That's my personal opinion anyway.
A couple of weeks after Dillian fights, your old rival and good friend Derek Chisora, Del Boy, takes on, looks like it's going to be Usyk as well. So between May, June and July, you're going to potentially see the top 8-9 heavyweights all fight within those 3 months. But you give Chisora a chance against Usyk, and is Usyk not proven yet at heavyweight?
Usyk's not proven at heavyweight, yes, that's correct. Listen, it's a hell of a fight. I think Usyk's going to be in for a surprise when he meets Derek Chisora, War Chisora as well, what he's called, and he's going to bring the pressure on, and he's just going to try to, nullify the movement and press him against and just keep punching. And he does that really, really well. If a Chisora that's on song, that's coming forward and is prepared to let his hands go as he always does, especially when he fights Dillian Whyte. If that Chisora turns up, it's going to be a hard night for Usyk. But Usyk's very good, technical. He's an elite of the elite. As an amateur, came up to cruiserweight and unified the whole division and done really well. Against Witherspoon, he was getting caught in there a few times, So let's see what happens, Let's see what happens with that fight and see if it's possible that hold on one second. Yeah, see if it's possible that he can pull off the upset. I'm going to be rooting for Chisora and hopefully he can get it done. Yeah.
We look forward to 10 odd weeks of great heavyweight action.
There's loads of boxing. Even on the smaller cards, there's going to be loads of great fights. You've got Sterling and you've got Dan Aziz on the MTK. There's loads of fights over the next few months. So for boxing fans, it's going to be a great few months.
Dean Whyte, always a pleasure catching up with you.
Thanks very much.
Safe travels back to London.
And you too.
And we'll catch up with you soon.
Excellent.
Dean Whyte for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Bless, yeah.